as you get older, putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations to kind of grow, putting myself in the position that I had to get up in front of people and had to kind of work on that, knowing that's one of my weaknesses. I just kind of said, well, eventually I got to get used to it and I got to improve on this. So I constantly put myself in those situations where I had to do it in order to grow.
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Story of You. We have with us today special guest Stella Miller. Stella is the business development manager for Agard Jurgensen, also known as AJC General Contracting and Design. Welcome, Stella.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell us, what is Agard Jurgensen, and what does the business do, and what's your role?
So Agard Jurgensen is a general contractor and design build firm. We focus on commercial projects. So basically, when a business owner is looking to build a building, renovate a building, they come to us and we can do everything from designing the building to hiring all the necessary subcontractors, the architects, the engineers, to make sure that that project is done within time and within budget. I am the business development manager. So my role is basically to bring in leads for the company. So I go out into the community, talk about what we do, and I also handle all the marketing that's involved within the company.
Excellent. Excellent. And what's the territory that your business works?
Central Florida is where the majority of our jobs are. We've been up to Jacksonville in the past, and we will go west and east, but Central Florida is primarily.
Very good. So let's talk a little bit about your background. Take it back. First, what is your ethnicity?
I am Greek. Both of my parents were born and raised in Cyprus, which is a small island south of Greece.
Nice. And so were you born and raised here?
Yes, Connecticut.
And Connecticut. Okay. And do you have a big family, small family?
We have a huge family. There is 7 of us. 6 of them are girls and 1 boy. And wow. I am the second oldest out of everybody.
6. So 6 siblings plus you.
Yes.
What was that like growing up in a household with that many siblings?
It was loud. We all got along and disagreed and agreed on various things. But being the second oldest, me and my older sister were kind of responsible for all the little ones. So
yeah, I can definitely see that would be a responsibility of one of the older siblings to help out. Do you I've seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Is that true of your family?
100%. We owned restaurants just like in the movie. When I got married, my wedding was very similar to the wedding in the movie. So yes, it's very typical.
And do you still keep in close contact with your siblings?
Absolutely. We are spread out. So 1 in Arizona, 1 in Michigan, a few in Connecticut, and then me and my oldest down here.
So what brought you to Florida?
Well, it's warm. No snow. My parents, when I was younger, my parents came down here to open a restaurant, and we just kind of stayed. Florida is wonderful. There's so much to do. It's home.
Yeah. And you've been here for how long?
Oh, goodness. Well, I was in middle school when I originally moved here. Moved back for about 2 years in my 20s and have been here since 25. So well over 20 years.
Wow. So Florida truly is home for you then.
I love it.
It's funny you mentioned that it's warm here. Yesterday was the first day of school here, and my nieces, my sister-in-law posted the pictures, first day of school, and both of my nieces are wearing sweaters and jackets. One of them was wearing a turtleneck, with a jacket, and the other was wearing a full like hoodie sweater. And I commented like, hey, like, let them know this is Florida. Like, why are they so bundled up? And my sister-in-law says, yeah, that's what I say all the time, but they want to wear these super warm clothes all the time. I don't get it, but
Yeah. I'm glad to not layer clothes here too much.
yeah. I mean, we're indoors most of the time, and sometimes it can get cold, but they were outside, getting ready to go to school. So I don't know. I think it's a fashion thing.
I always made the joke that down here in Florida, we put the jackets on to go inside versus the jackets on to go outside.
That is true. That is true. I go into a building and I'm cold, and then I take it off as soon as I get outside. So, let's talk about your teen years. What was high school like for you?
I was always a very shy kid. I kind of went to school, went home, was always too shy to join any type of activities. So most of my time was really outside of school. Didn't really have too many friends. I was just very timid.
Sure. And that's a little, I would never expect someone from a big Greek family to be shy. So were you, how was that to be a shy sibling among a family that was so loud as you described it?
Yeah, I think that everyone did most of the talking. So I was always kind of, quiet because it was so loud. You kind of get lost in the mix there. And
Sure.
I think that they all did most of the talking for me. So I never really spoke up and got out there.
Yeah. Yeah. You either have to be the loudest to be heard, or, just kind of keep to yourself. Which is what it sounds like you kind of adapted to. So you're obviously not shy anymore. You have a position where you are out and about meeting new people all of the time. So what changed for you?
I think that as you get older, putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations to kind of grow. So throughout college and in various occupations that I had, putting myself in the position that I had to get up in front of people and had to kind of work on that, knowing that's one of my weaknesses, kind of led me to where I am today. So instead of just kind of sheltering to, that comfort of not being involved and not speaking up, I just kind of said, well, eventually I got to get used to it and I got to improve on this. So I constantly put myself in those situations where I had to do it in order to grow.
So I know that the fear of public speaking can be a debilitating fear for some people. So what I'm hearing you say is that you are someone who looks at your weaknesses and doesn't just accept them as who you are, but put yourself in uncomfortable positions to overcome those weaknesses. And that is truly admirable, and something that I think a lot of people never do, and they just accept that this is a fear I have, and this is, and avoids that fear forever. So, congratulations on overcoming that. I know that it is a debilitating fear for many people, and for you to have come so far through your own personal development is truly unique, and to be congratulated. So
Thank
uh,
you.
that's it also speaks to, I think, who you are as a person, that, we all have weaknesses, and a lot of times it's like, that's just who I am. But you seem like the kind of person that, when you identify a weakness in yourself, that you work on it, you challenge yourself, you get the teaching, the training, the education you need to gain those skills to overcome that weakness. And that is the type of person that I believe goes far in life.
Thank you. And I think it's important too, as a mother to kind of, not just say things to your children that you have to, work hard to succeed, step out of your comfort zone, but to show it, because a lot of times they mimic what we do.
Yes, yes. And so you mentioned being a mother. Tell me about your children.
I have one 9-year-old little girl, and she is very special in our family. She's the only child, um, and the only child on both sides of the family, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
So a tiny bit spoiled, but she is a joy to everybody.
Does she have lots of cousins though, from your
None,
siblings?
none.
What?
Out of the huge family I have, there's a little bit of an age gap between the younger ones. So no one has had any children except for me. So she mingles very well with adults.
Yeah. Wow. To
Yeah.
have 7 children, and then for her to be the only grandchild, that's amazing. But so you expect probably that some of your younger siblings will have children down the road?
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They're entering their late 20s, early 30s. So I'm sure in a short time she'll have some cousins to play with, which she would absolutely love, because she always says, when I ask her, what do you want for your birthday? A brother, a sister?
Oh,
Yeah. So we have lots of play dates to fill that void.
yeah, for sure. Well, that shows, I think, that she has a compassionate and loving heart, that she would want to have a sibling to help care for.
Oh, absolutely.
So your daughter is 9 years old. What grade is she in?
She's in 4th grade.
And right now, this time of year, we just started back to school. Did she start back?
She started back on Monday. Yeah.
And how's it going so far? Is she a good student?
She is a great student. At her age, I'm just so surprised. She wants to do well. She works hard on getting good grades and listening to the teacher and making friends. And if, life's not perfect, if she happens to do poorly on a test or something, it really affects her. So she studies extra hard for the next one and really strives to be an honor roll student and do what she's supposed to do in school.
That it sounds like she has picked up on some of those characteristics from you, probably. I hear
Yeah.
some similarities there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So does she have any extracurricular activities that she participates in?
Yeah, she is into gymnastics. I think if she could go every day, all day, she would. She loves dance and singing. She was once into jujitsu, and we plan to return to that very shortly. So
Nice. The gymnastics, what's her skill level at right now? Like, what are some of the gymnastics tricks she can do?
She just started. She's about a month in. She
Okay.
did a report last year on Simone Biles and fell in love with her story and gymnastics in general. So ever since then, she has asked to, get involved with gymnastics. And finally, we felt comfortable enough to put her in. We found a good organization that she goes to, and she's loving it.
That's great. I have always been a big believer in gymnastics. My two daughters did gymnastics. Now they do cheer, which is similar. They do
Yeah.
gymnastics through cheer. But I remember when I was in school that the best athletes were the gymnasts. The only ones who could do pull-ups of the females were the gymnasts. The best swimmers, the best, whatever sport they ended up pursuing down the road, the gymnasts just were the best by and large, because they had that body control and full body, muscle training. I just think gymnastics is a great introductory sport for kids that can lead them to any sport that they choose to pursue down the road.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by the strength and the flexibility that I see when I go there to watch her, and just what she's learned on her own from just friends that have done it. It just amazes me. I used to be able to do some of those things, not so much anymore.
Were you a gymnast?
No, growing up in a family that we owned a restaurant, we never got to really participate in a lot of those extracurricular activities. But I remember, doing the handstands and the back bends with friends. And I tried it, I want to say a couple months ago, and it didn't wind up like when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughters talked me into doing a cartwheel the other day, and I was impressed with myself. Like, I could still do a cartwheel. It probably wasn't that beautiful of a cartwheel, but I made it over. But yeah, our bodies definitely aren't the same as they used to be at my age. So, but it's good to hear that you're still, doing those back bends. Those are great stretching and strength exercises you know, if you can do it. I can't do that anymore, for sure. I'm like very inflexible.
We'll keep at it and eventually keep up with our kids, right?
Yeah, we'll live vicariously through them.
Yeah.
So prior to the position you hold now, what has your professional life been like?
So growing up in a restaurant, in my younger years, I worked in hospitality throughout Central Florida. When I had my daughter, got married, my husband was a firefighter at the time. So I decided to make a career change. I wanted to, when she eventually got into school, be there in the evenings to do homework and cook dinner and tuck her into bed.
Mhm.
So I then moved into the timeshare industry. And I had a fabulous mentor, and did extremely well throughout the years. And then COVID kind of changed things a bit, and that led me into the position that I'm in now.
Excellent. So sounds like you've been in sales for a while. And
Yes.
that's just even more admirable to have been such a shy child. I mean, sales is not only, in my opinion, not only the most challenging in terms of putting yourself out there if you have a fear of public speaking, but also you are getting rejected all the time. The fear, you have to overcome that fear of rejection to be in sales. And that's something that it prevented me from ever wanting to be in sales. Is I didn't want to have to deal with that rejection over and over every day. So, that's really admirable that you've overcome those fears that I think everybody faces to some extent, and have just really jumped in head first, to overcoming those challenges and facing those fears.
Yeah, I found throughout the years, you know, I've gotten more and more ambitious and, mentally preparing for those no's, but really enjoying the yeses and the wins. And I've kind of stuck to, okay, well, how do I get better? How do I get better? And just grown from there. And that's really throughout the years of doing that, you see a difference in yourself professionally and personally.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you are committed to constant personal growth.
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about your role at Agar Jurgensen, but tell us a little bit more. Maybe an example or a success story of some property you all built or renovated or particularly a customer you may have helped. Just any stories that come to mind about your role that could kind of show us the services that you offer.
Well, a recent accomplishment. We are part of an organization called Associated Builders and Contractors. And every year they, general contractors and subcontractors submit projects they have done that excel in various different sections of construction. And when the pandemic hit, we were in the process of renovating a restaurant at the Gaylord Palms Resort. The restaurant's Villa de Flora. So when I came on board, one of my first projects was to learn about that project enough to be able to submit it for an award. And we won the award, which was great. We're very excited. And
so what was the award again?
The award is an Eagle Award. So basically, a variety of people in we call it the AEC industry, architect, engineer, and construction industry, walk these projects and basically see the complexity of the construction of the project. And there's a list of items that they really look for that projects need to excel in. And we were selected for the Eagle Award, which is the highest award. And we were actually featured, I want to say in June on the Building Central Florida. I have a copy here I can show you. I don't know if you could. Whoop.
If you put it closer to your face, it might pick up.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, now it's blurry.
Whoop. There we go. But
yes, I see it.
We were featured in the magazine, which goes out to so many people. Not the first award we've won, but that's the most recent that we've won. And I think that's a great accomplishment.
Oh, absolutely. And even just the fact that you were hired to work at Gaylord Palms, I mean, that is a household name. Everybody knows Gaylord Palms in the Central Florida area. It's a major resort. So having been selected to renovate a restaurant in Gaylord Palms, that alone speaks to the quality of the projects that you work on. So,
Definitely.
that definitely tells us the type of, buildings and renovations that you do, the quality that you provide.
Yeah, there's a lot of experience within our firm. So we've been around for 52 years. And one of the gentlemen that work with us, our CEO, has been with the company 51 and a half years. others 20, 30. There's a lot of longevity in our firm, and that comes into building successful projects, which we're extremely proud of. And it's a huge part of why a lot of our business comes from repeat clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And you I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, I was thinking about my next question. But yeah, I mean, that is just really impressive, the level of success that you guys have had and how long you've been around. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say that the longevity of the employees is also an important factor in evaluating a business. If the employees have been there a long time, that tells you that it's a quality company that treats people well, and so that they've wanted to hang around that long. So that's a good indicator too.
Great management, great ownership, and it's rare to find that in certain organizations, but definitely we definitely treat each other like we're family. So
that's great. How big of a company is it?
We have about 20 employees.
And then you probably have subcontractors as well.
Absolutely. So we reach out to architects, engineers, subcontractors.
Right. That's excellent. So where do you see yourself going in the next few years, both personally and professionally?
So I think continuing to grow with experience and knowledge in my current position, continue to hit certain goals and milestones, to continue for another 50 plus years with the company, and eventually growing into a more senior role is definitely a personal goal and professional goal of mine.
Excellent. Well, with a company that's been around for over 50 years, it doesn't seem like they're going anywhere. And with your personality traits of constant improvement, self-improvement, I certainly would think you would be a prime candidate to work your way up the ranks at that very high quality company.
Thank you.
Before we sign off for the today, is there any last minute thoughts or anything else you want to add before we close it out?
I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you, and I'm just extremely proud of the company I work for and the things I've achieved, and looking to grow a lot more throughout the years.
Well, you certainly have something to be proud of, both with the company and with your own achievements. And I'm honored to have had the opportunity to speak with you today. And thank you so much for being here. I wish you the best and have no doubt that you will accomplish all of those goals. So with that, we will go ahead and conclude until next time.
Thank you.